Welcome to Wanted Down Under, the show where we take a British family and catapult them over 10,000 miles across the world to test drive a life in the Australian sun. Today we're following the Mason family. Andy's a self-employed carpenter who wants a brighter future for his 3 children.
There's just nothing for them at all, unless they've got all the degrees under the sun, and then you're not guaranteed a job at the end of that.
And less stress for him and his wife Jane.
We'd like to get out of the rat race a bit and just have an easier life.
But will they find Australia's all they hoped for?
I think hate's a bit of a strong word. I just totally dislike it.
And how will Andy handle working for someone else again?
Somebody barking orders at me, I don't think I'd take it very well, because I think I'd be walking back out the door and back to the UK.
Jane's more worried about who they'll have to leave behind.
If we do move out here, the biggest battle I think will be friends.
And there's her horse, Reggie. It would cost £6,000 to take him.
So the sentimental side would be take him with me. And his golf clubs would cost me £30 to fly over. My hobby will cost slightly more.
It's the biggest decision the Masons will ever make.
My overall fear would be it all going totally wrong and not being able to do what we want to do.
So will they decide to stay in the UK or go where they're wanted down under? Over 20,000 Brits became Australian citizens last year, and if you have the right profession, you and your family can now be fast-tracked to a new life down under. But it's a huge decision to make, and most families haven't even set foot in Australia before deciding to make the move. So we've given 20 British families the chance to road test the Aussie life. They'll get to spend a week finding out all that they can about homes, work and lifestyle. But then they'll have to vote once and for all whether to stay in the UK or move to Australia. Andy and Jane Mason live in this detached house in Nottingham with their 3 children, Aidan, age 7, Callum, 5 and 18-month-old Abby. Andy's worked as a carpenter since leaving school and has even fitted out his own house extension. He hopes a move to Oz would mean a better balance between work and family.
I'm basically looking for a job where I start early, I do a standard 8 hours, where I can sort of spend time with the kids and the rest of it.
We'd like to get out of the rat race and just have a bit easier life, a bit more outdoors.
At the moment we rush around like headless chickens. We're sort of an outgoing family, like to sort of bike rides, all the rest of it, and a bit more time to do that.
Jane and Andy have been thinking about moving to Australia for the last 3 years.
I've been on every website humanly possible. Found out all the information I possibly could.
Jane leads a busy life, but it's her horse obsession that's been a big hurdle to them making any decision.
Over the years it has caused a few arguments with regards money for the horses. It's whether you put food on the table or the horse gets fed, and sometimes the horse has got fed instead of I've got fed.
Jane's priorities make it difficult for her to achieve everything she wants in the UK.
College, work and horses and children just don't go. And he's always been at the bottom of the pecking order.
For me, personally, I'd like to get rid of horses totally.
Even if Jane takes her horse, they do have other attachments, like close family ties, that would be broken by a move.
Obviously, with Andy's mum having MS, she has said that she won't come over to Australia.
My mum and dad are, I wouldn't say best pleased with the idea of us moving that far, especially with mum being sort of ill as she is. The travel factor for her wouldn't be an option. I don't think she could do it. But overall, I think everybody's pushing us in the direction of go for it and make a go of it.
So will Australia provide the answer? To help Jane and Andy consider the huge risk they'd be taking, we've lined up 3 lifestyle options for them to choose from in South Australia, in the city of Adelaide, on the coast or in the country. Jane and Andy have had sleepless nights wrestling with the enormity of their decision. So, to help them, I've invited the whole family to Australia House in London to help them find out more. Mason family, welcome to Australia House. Who's going to Australia soon? You do know you're going to Australia, but you don't know where, do you? I have got 3 options for you, 3 very different lifestyles, and the first one is in the city. And then you can all tell me what you think about it afterwards. South Australia's capital, Adelaide, boasts a Mediterranean climate and a cosmopolitan lifestyle. South of the city is a great place to live, with its mix of modern and traditional architecture and a booming economy. Falcon shop fitters have plenty of work, says manager Greg Mayer.
We do a multitude of joinery work here, shop fit-outs, office fit-outs, all over the state. So if you like a good lifestyle, great bunch of blokes to work with and fantastic weather, come and join us.
Pay would be around £25,000 a year, and you could enjoy Adelaide's outdoor life, from cycle tracks to boating or the modern pedestrian shopping malls.
Welcome to my backyard. As you can see, a lot more room here than the UK, lots of room for the kids to play games, jump in the pool, and we can have a barbecue. So if you want to come on down, we'll make a day of it.
So what did you think there, Andy, of the job they were offering?
The job itself looked fine for me. The daunting part from my point of view is getting used to working back inside again. So I preferably want to spend more time out to start with and then integrate myself back into it.
Oh, okay. And how do you feel about the city lifestyle, Jane?
I'm a suburb person, what
you?
said, yeah, as opposed to a city.
Okay.
But it did look all right. The pool's a winner.
How would everybody fancy looking at the beach lifestyle, option number 2? Yeah. Option 2 is the coast lifestyle west of Adelaide. Long sandy white shores like Glenelg offer all sorts of activities for the kids as well as safe swimming. Appropriately named Winkle's Shop Fitters is run by the Kelly family.
Hi Andy, we're the Kelly family.
Here's Hamish Kelly.
This is where we make most of the joinery before we bring it out to site. A lot of our clients are service stations and small shops.
You could earn up to £20,000 a year here. Houses tend to be smaller than the city, but are often built of attractive red brick. They won't always have a pool, but you're only minutes from the Southern Ocean. So the £20,000 salary would give you a great combination of comfortable living and a beach on your doorstep. But you've got to know your stuff. Winkle's Shop Fitters only use the most high-tech equipment.
This is a very important tool right here. This is our table tennis table for Friday night. That's my favourite tool to work on.
Come on Andy, can't wait to see you. You're going to love it here.
Wow, how friendly were they?
That looked good, didn't it?
Eh? What did Daddy think about ping pong on a Friday?
That's quite good for me. I used to be pretty handy at that, so that would be a major result for me.
I kind of felt from it that you had like ready-made friends there as well,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Yeah, they seemed really friendly.
Side of it, yeah.
OK, well, I think it's time to look at option number 3, which is our rural lifestyle. You ready for that, Jay? The final option is in South Australia's countryside, where you'll get plenty of house for your money. More than 70% of South Australians are in or around Adelaide, enjoying a high standard of living and great scenery. Phil Gable from Sky Shop Fitters thinks there's a job for Andy.
We're a small family business with about $1 million turnover a year, and we would dearly love to have you come and spend a day with us. We're a very close knit community in our company itself. It's all a family business. We all live only about 5 minutes away.
You'd earn about £20,000 a year here. £200,000 would buy a substantial property. They're normally single-storey with a good-sized garden, and it really is possible to walk to work here. The rural Adelaide Hills offer a lush contrast to the city and coast lifestyles. And on £20,000 annual salary, with your budget, you could afford plenty of space.
So, Andy, what more could you possibly ask for? A great place to work and a great place to be.
What did you think of that last option, Jane?
I quite like the look of the houses. They look that you've got a bit more space around them, so that we can fit Aiden's swimming pool in.
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to press you to make a decision, as you are going to Australia in just a few days' time. So, will it be life in the thriving city of Adelaide, earning up to £25,000 a year? Or having time to enjoy the beach lifestyle, but earning less, working for a family firm of shop fitters? Or life in the country with more house for your money and a real sense of community?
I think the beach.
Yeah, I'd go with the beach.
And how does that appeal to you, the beach right on your doorstep?
Oh, well, it's all those bronze tunks that are on the beach.
You won't be able to get a thing done all day.
I think the saying to that is it ditto or something?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Do you like bronze tungsten?
Well, maybe.
No.
Trunks in trunks, you never know. But no, for the beach, for us to unwind at the end of the day would be great.
I'd better give you your tickets. And can
Great,
I say, I'm so glad I'm not going to be doing the 24-hour flight with 3 children.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
This time.
Thank you.
So, the Mason family are off to sample the coastal lifestyle of South Australia. After more than a day of flights and airports, they make it to Adelaide, jet-lagged but excited.
It's been a long trip.
29 hours. A long time with 3 kids.
And he's already thinking hard about his job.
Best thing to happen this week would be for me to land the job that I'm looking for. If it doesn't work out, I'll move on to plan B, which will basically be send Jane out to work and she can keep me for the next 17 years.
If they decide to move, it's crucial Andy and Jane agree on everything this week. To start with, they've rented a car and a family house near the beach. There's a small garden and 3 bedrooms, including a twin for Callum and Aidan.
Is this as big as your bedroom at home? Too small.
It's very nice. The decor's interesting. I've got to admit.
Let's go look at the garden. Quite nice, yeah.
So they're impressed by the rental house, but tomorrow is the difficult task of agreeing on the kind of property that might suit a permanent future in Australia. In the UK, Jane and Andy have a detached house in Nottingham with lots of spaces for the kids. If they sell it, after paying off their mortgage, they'd have about £160,000 to spend on an Oz property. So we've chosen 3 homes that represent the kind of places they could afford if they moved here for real. While the kids are being looked after, Jane and Andy get down to some serious house hunting.
We've worked hard to get where we are in the UK, and we don't intend to just lose what we've done in the UK if we were to move. So unless we find the right house land package, then we wouldn't move.
They're determined to find the right property, or the whole idea of a move is in jeopardy. Fingers crossed. First, a brand new family home with a pool on at £200,000. So the Masons' finances would already be stretched. There's a lot of open land at the back. Inside, it's immaculate, with 5 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms.
Hiya.
Hello.
Fine, thank you.
The current owners built the house themselves on an empty plot. They're also from the UK.
Almost every second person has got a British relative here, and they're all so friendly. They all want to get to know you. They'll take you right into their circle of friends. And we've made lots of really good friends here, lifelong friends we've made here. Kitchen. We've got the in pantry there, family room, and also the rumpus room.
Right.
The rooms are well finished, which will please Andy, who doesn't want any more DIY. And it's big enough for each of the children to have their own bedroom.
So whose bedroom's this one?
This is the 5-year-old.
Right.
5-year-old daughter.
Spotless again. To teach us some of this.
Just don't look under the beds or in the cupboards, though. This is the study bit. We also have, you can see, we put the double bed, and that's where any guests that come from overseas, they can have that room.
Separate bedroom, yeah.
And this is the last of the children's bedrooms.
Okay.
This is our senior. She's almost 15, this one.
I like it. I like the layout.
So far, they're roughly the same size as what we've got.
back home.
Yeah.
There are other advantages to living here. Jane finds she has a lot more in common with the owners than just being a Brit.
We've basically been able to do everything that we dreamed of doing. We've got horses and...
You said you've got horses.
Yeah.
Do you keep them at...
I've got a friend who, yeah, a friend, at the moment they're adjusted at
They're
friends'
on
house.
livery?
Yeah, so yeah, they're both there, yeah.
Does it cost much?
$50 a week, which is what, £20?
Yeah.
Which is not a lot.
Oh, Jane's really got the bit between her teeth now, much to Andy's dismay.
So there you go.
Well, we'll leave you two to talk horses then.
Area? Is it heated?
Yep, solar heated pool. We've got solar panels on the roof, and yeah, it is enough. I mean, you find you only need a couple of days of sun, and it heats up really quickly. Yeah.
And round the corner, Jane spotted the land that comes with the house. Andy sees it as a garden, but to Jane, it's a paddock for a horse.
And will they ever build? Will they ever build on that?
No. And
Right.
just over the mound there's a
Yeah.
little lake,
Right.
you know. It's great for walking the dogs or whatever.
So what's this on the market at?
It's on the market at $489.
That's about £200,000, so they'll need a small mortgage to add to their savings.
From a point of view of moving to the UK, moving straight in, yes, it's the sort of property we'd be looking at, wouldn't it, really?
I'd prefer to be going for an acreage, just so that I can have my horse.
Right again, Andy. Keep walking.
Come on, Andy, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Place your bets for runner number 2, described by the agent as a Georgian-style residence, peacefully positioned over rolling hills. It's cheaper than the first one at $480,000. That's about £190,000, but it's still got 2 bathrooms and 5 bedrooms.
Hi, I'm Jane.
Okay, we'll come in and we might as well start with the main bedroom here. So this is the bedroom 1 with the ensuite and walk-in robe. Nice big space in there in the walk-in robe.
No Oz family house would be complete without a rampus room.
A lot of people use it just for, you know, games room or whatever you like, really. The newer style homes here in Australia, we have the formal living areas and then the casual living areas, but not a lot of them have the rumpus room as well. Just an extra entertaining area, and having the sliding doors which lead out to the garden is quite nice as well. Okay, this takes us now through to our formal lounge room here. You notice we've got an open fireplace, which is lovely, creates a nice ambience.
It might have a fireplace, but it's left them cold. There are big windows, but no view.
For me, looking at the fence, I think it's a bit enclosed.
The Aussies do like their solid fences.
I'll show you up to the formal dining area here, which is quite spacious. Nice big windows here as well.
I've got to say I don't like the view out of that window. Next door's pretty close.
I think it's a nice setup, but it just spoils it having the 2 metal panels each end just to look at and nothing else. 'Cause that's all you're really seeing.
It's quite a big plot, but the house takes up all of the plot.
That's right.
As opposed to going 2 floors.
Sometimes when we have 2-storey homes, then that can impede on your sale because it cuts out people who don't want stairs for small children or for the elderly. It's very common over here in Australia to have your homes on 1 level.
Still, it's not to everyone's taste. So, what do the Masons honestly think of property number 2?
I think hate's a bit of a strong word. I just totally dislike it. I would have the house we saw earlier over this one.
It's a shame, really, because it's a nice house just boxed in, really.
Oh dear, they'd better like the last property or we have a problem. How about somewhere with a bit more space? If the one before was mock Georgian, this is Tudor. It's pricier at £250,000, but has a pool and its 11-acre plot includes dozens of attractive gum trees.
Good afternoon, I'm Wayne from
Andy.
Troop and Tips. Andy and
Jane.
Jane, nice to meet the both of you.
Okay.
Come right through, folks. As you can see, these folks have got this set up as a formal dining room. It's a very flexible floor plan, so you could have this as a formal dining, as we've got it set up, or it could be a formal lounge and the dining room on the other side. So as I said, you've got an open fireplace here, which is very nice to have through the winter months. We'll wander through, have a look through the formal lounge. So just a nice sized room.
Yeah, this is maybe more what we're used to in the UK.
Yes.
So it's completely different than what we've seen so far.
It's got more of a homely feel to it, where you're travelling all that miles and then you're actually stepping back a bit into what you've left. But yeah, it's got a nice feel to it.
Folks, we'll come on through to kitchen dinette area here. It's a very country style, if you like.
It's certainly more what we're after, I've got to admit.
OK, yeah. Well, that's good.
Maybe more your cup of tea than mine.
Basically, I do all the cooking, so there'll be
You
a
don't
sign.
do all the cooking, you do most of the cooking.
99.9%, so there'll be a
Wow,
sign
I'm
hanging from
feeling so
Andy's
rough
kitchen.
today.
Do not enter.
So Andy reckons the kitchen is his territory. I think we'd better check out the bedrooms.
Right, we'll head upstairs, folks, have a look at the bedrooms. Nice size rooms, you've got your built-in robes, so you've got plenty of hanging space and get everything tucked away there and it's not intruding into the room.
Plenty of space for the kids. The two-storey style seems to suit them better.
Yeah, it's a nice view, actually. Yeah, and the hills.
If Jane's thinking nice place to ride, Andy has other ideas.
Could we turn that land into sort of a vineyard or cherries or something like that? Yeah.
Sure. Come on through, folks. So here you've got your main bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
A great
Nice
size,
size.
plenty of room here. So a walk-in robe here, which is great again. Gets that all out of the way so you haven't got wardrobes hanging around.
My stuff there and there,
Yeah.
Andy's stuff
Yes.
there.
So we get to work that out.
Very generous, Jane. Perhaps Andy will be allowed more space outside.
Property is on 11 acres. You know, you could certainly keep a horse here if you're inclined.
Sorry, Andy, I spoke too soon.
It's what I'd say I'm after. I'm not sure Andy would want the same as I do, necessarily. Because Andy knows that if I get acres, I'll get a horse. Maybe Andy would prefer no acreage.
Because it's a lot of land to manage
as...
with 3 kids and 2 jobs to go with it.
Looks like they can't agree, but it's vote time. Oz Properties versus the UK. The first was OK with Andy, but with not enough land for Jane. The second was too enclosed, and Jane was still looking for that large paddock. The last property had the family space on 2 floors and 11 acres of land to ride on. Choosing between Oz and UK homes. I have a feeling I know which way Jane will vote.
If I was going to go Australian or UK properties, then I would go Australian because you get better value for money.
I'm going to disagree with you on that. I'm going to vote
No!
the UK because I think UK houses are better built and are more homely. So I suppose we're going to have a long-distance relationship.
Well, you can put your slippers by the fire then.
Some pretty impressive homes, but are they really enough to persuade our family to choose Australia over the UK? Well, they've only got a few more days before they have to make that massive decision. But first, they need to find out a little bit more about the Aussie lifestyle. It's day 2 and the Masons are keen to find outdoor activities for their children. And Adelaide is a city surrounded by green spaces. So, with the kids as guinea pigs, Andy and Jane have decided to check out the local parks before voting on Australia's outdoor family facilities. So, how does cycling by the river compare to what they might do in a park back home?
Yeah, I'm not convinced it's that much different than if we were to go down the embankment on a Sunday morning.
It looks peaceful, but these inner-city cycleways do get busy.
Busy? Okay.
I suppose it's the only open space around. Everybody out of town city are going to come out, aren't they, for Sundays? It is surrounded, looking at that map, by parks, greenery, river. Obviously caters for everybody at the end of the day, which is good to see.
All this riding's put horses back in Jane's mind.
And what is strange is the fact that the horse trials are going to be all around in the parkland, whereas they'd be out of the way when we're in the UK.
Amongst the open spaces, the Masons found they were never far from a play park.
I think the play parks are better here than at home.
So how about the cleanliness and condition of the equipment compared to the UK?
We don't tend to take them to play parks very often in the UK because you tend to find them a bit vandalised and not everything works. So you'll get there and there'll be no swings. Just generally we don't tend to do it.
Outdoor dining is another big part of the Masons' Aussie dream. So, after all the exercise, they're going to try one of the public barbecues provided in parks all over Australia. Just press the button for free electric heat.
There's nowhere in the UK where you'd actually find a barbecue maintained in sort of parkland, really. It's nice to see.
So, what's their verdict on outdoor facilities for the family?
Which do we prefer, the UK or Australia? It's Australia!
Like the Masons, most people travelling to Australia are impressed with how cheap it is to eat out here. But when you're earning in Aussie dollars and not just on holiday, is it really such a bargain? After all that in-flight food, the first thing to look for is some fair dinkum Aussie tucker. And with all the fresh food markets and local restaurants, there's plenty of choice. Australia has hundreds of world-standard gourmet restaurants, so it's no surprise that chefs, bakers and cooks are all on the wanted skills list. Mark Potter, an artisan cheesemaker from McLaren Valley near Adelaide, is passionate about food and wine produced by Aussies.
In the world context, Australian wine has really, in the last 15, 20 years, come into its own. You might find actually that a lot of the winemakers out in these in some of the areas around the world, like France and America, South Africa, are Australians. There's been a lot of investment in education, and the quality now is coming out, and it's such excellent quality across the board.
In Australia, food costs about 20% less than in most European countries. A good bottle of local wine would be £3 or £4 quid. Beef and lamb are cheap, and because virtually any fruit and veg can be grown locally, that's also good value. Australia's varied climate and rich soil mean all manner of foods, from exotic lychees and mangoes to bush foods and spicy peppers, are all grown in the country.
With our seafood, our smoked meats, cheeses, our wine, olives, fresh fruit, of course. You know, Australia's the green country, and we have low pesticide use. We've got a lot of organic produce. If you ever had the opportunity to go through the Adelaide Central Markets, it's just amazing the kaleidoscope of different fruits you'll find, and fresh and perfect every time.
So, for fine food and great value, what better place to be than Adelaide? And it's Adelaide where Andy and Jane Mason are spending a week road testing the Aussie lifestyle. They're risking everything they have for the chance of a fresh start for themselves and their 3 children in Australia. But already they've found they couldn't agree on the best house.
Unless we find the right house, land package, then we wouldn't move.
And Andy saw red when Jane seemed more interested in finding the right home for her horse.
I'd prefer to be going for an acreage, just so that I can have my horse.
But at least they could agree on the best place for the outdoor lifestyle.
It's Australia!
So can Andy learn to be a hired hand again? And how will they all cope with hearing the thoughts of family and friends back home?
I don't want them to go. That's very selfish for me, because I don't want to lose my children.
As their week in Oz draws to an end, what started off as a tough decision is only going to get tougher.
Dad, you've got tears in your eyes.
Day 3, and it's make or break for Andy's work. He's been used to being his own boss in the UK, but the work he plans to do if they move down under would be for large carpentry firms.
Back in the UK, I've got a free run of everything for what I do. Here I'm going to be tied, I think, to a bench, and I don't think I'll like that at all.
Would Andy still move if he hated working for someone else?
After 10 years of doing it for myself and making my own decisions, somebody barking orders at me, I think I'd be walking back out the door within 10 minutes of getting in there if somebody said the wrong thing. So if today doesn't go well, then obviously for me to stay out here would be a no-no. I'd be back on the plane with Jane and the kids and back to the UK.
So the whole move rests on Andy getting on with an employer like Hamish.
G'day, Andy.
Hi, Hamish.
How are you?
Not too bad, thank you.
Good to hear. Come on in, mate.
Andy has to assemble flat-pack cupboards like the DIY ones from home improvement centres.
Okay. This is our joinery section of the whole shop fitting process. Let's get you started with a couple of things.
Okay, thank you. But we'll have a go at it, and hopefully it'll turn out all right. It might be upside down, we never know. I need a tape measure. You haven't got a spare tape measure and a pencil I could borrow for a minute, have you? Feel like a proper chippy now. Right, here goes my first attempt at nailing a piece of chipboard with an Aussie nail gun. Beware, everybody.
Very impressive, but Andy isn't happy.
I feel like I'm on a production line at the moment. I could be doing this for 8 hours a day, depending on how good you are. It's a bad thing from our point of view, because I'll just be doing roughly the same thing for the day, and that, to me, is not a good thing. I'd like a bit more variety in it. Voila!
Looks really good, Andy.
Oh, thank you very much.
If you want, we'll go out now and show you some of the installation work that we do.
OK.
We'll go out to a Subway store in a close shopping centre.
It's fine, lovely.
OK.
And there's more bad news for Andy. While he's working, Jane's determined to find out more about bringing in a horse if they move. That would cost thousands of pounds and would also mean 9 months in quarantine. So Jane's taking advice from another owner.
So you're considering bringing him over?
Yeah. The only thing that would put me off is the flight.
You know, you wonder about him, don't you? If you're doing the right thing by him, putting him through.
He has flown, but
that.
he's only flown like the 2 hours. I wouldn't necessarily want to put my horse through it.
No. How much is it?
It worked out 5,900.
How's that all?
So nearly £6,000 to back Jane's horse, and we know who's favourite to place that bet.
Andy doesn't think I ought to bring him over.
Oh, why?
Andy in the UK is sort of bottom of my pecking order. First, it used to be, didn't it, Aidan? Horses, dog, kids, then Daddy, didn't it? And he's hoping moving over here, it'll be maybe kids, then Daddy. 18 years we've been together. He met me with 3 horses. He met me at a horse show. So my argument is, you met me with horses. You're not going to change what I enjoy doing. I don't stop him going golfing, do I? 3 young children and a horse on livery, which is half an hour away, isn't the easiest thing to manage.
Really, is it?
I think a horse of my own, on my own land, out my back garden. But it's talking Mr. Mason into buying me a house with the land. I've got to work on that factor.
Mr. Mason, your wife certainly knows what she wants. She's not the sort of lady to be taken for a ride.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, well done.
Jane's expensive hobby would rely on Andy bringing home the butts.
Get your dosh out, Andrew Mason. Yeah, I hope Andy's work's going well, because this is my next one.
Well, Andy didn't like the factory, so how will he like working on site?
This is the store which we're fitting out at the moment. We do a fair few stores in the state. We can probably get you working on putting some fillers in around the top of those units there, and we'll see what else we can find you to do. Keep you busy. Yeah. Oh, mate.
Let's hope he finds shop fitting more inspiring than assembly work.
You've done this before, haven't you, Andy?
Just a few times, yeah.
Andy's finding the work unexciting. Maybe the hours will tempt him more.
Yeah. So what's the hours of work?
Well, the standard working weeks are from 7 o'clock in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon.
OK.
Usually towards the end of the year, when it gets a bit busier, we have to work from about 7 till about 5:30. Out of the 12 months of the year, probably 4 months would be sort of pretty busy, and the rest of it's sort of pretty consistent. Yeah, so it's good life.
So, what does Hamish make of Andy?
I think he's a nice guy. I'd have him working for me, no problems.
But what about Andy? Is carpentry in Oz a cut above the UK?
Having spent the morning at Winkle Shop Fitters, great company, great people, I was hoping for a bit more of the traditional joinery side of things. The dollars you can earn aren't great at the moment for the work you're doing. I could actually earn more in the UK for doing a lot less, to be perfectly honest. So when it comes to working in Australia or the UK, I'm going to go 50-50 on this, and I think Jane will be a bit disappointed in that.
She certainly will. While Jane and the kids enjoy the ride, Andy has time to reflect.
When I first arrived, I'd hoped that Jane and the kids would be going back without me, and I'd be sort of staying on, working in a job that I thought would suited for me, and sort of laying down the stones to sort of build on.
Keep going.
I don't think that will happen. It wasn't for me, I don't think. But we'll move on from it and find something else.
And he's already starting to find it hard so far away from his network of friends.
And being here for a week and not being able to venture down to the local pub and see my mates has been hard. And leaving that back home would probably be a massive killer, to be honest. It would be a right heart-wrencher, to be perfectly honest.
Soon the Masons must decide if they're committing to Australia or not, while they consider all the factors and has agreed to let Jane try at least one type of horse.
If you think that's a rocking horse, I'll show you one.
In fact, this is the world's biggest rocking horse at nearly 20 metres high, and it lives in the hills above Adelaide. Mounting this steed seems as hard as the decision over Jane bringing her own horse if they emigrate.
I like horses, but I don't like ladders.
Oh, I like these sorts of horses. They don't need maintaining and looking after and
Well, I don't know.
eating grass and chewing money for nothing.
What was supposed to be a great day out has only served to highlight their differences over Jane's horse, Reggie.
I don't think Andy will be very happy if I'm still considering bringing the horse out. Me and Andy don't discuss it at the minute. Safe, come on.
It's a bit of a way down, isn't it? You've seen it, Aidan? You could always do a bungee jump off the top.
Helter-skelter sounds good.
Bungee jump's better.
No, you bungee, and I'll just make sure I've got the knife for the elastic.
If they move, seeing eye to eye would be even more important without the support they're used to back in the UK.
If we do move out here, the biggest battle I think will be friends. Like if he's really annoyed me or if I've really annoyed him, we could end up being in the same four walls just with each other, which, although we don't go out a lot, it's nice to have the option of being able to get out. So I think that'll be difficult.
Jane's nervous of the move, but as she finally joins Andy at the top of the giant rocking horse, she has a more urgent worry.
I'm not going to get down from here.
Why have you gone pale?
Because it's too high and I've got to go down. So if you don't like the ladder, don't come to the biggest rocking horse in the world.
All their experiences of their week down under has forced our family to really think about whether they're ready to make the biggest decision of their lives. It's a huge step. So to help them consider, we've recorded some messages for them to watch. First up are Andy's mum and dad.
Hi Andy, Jane, Aidan, Callum, Abby. We don't want them to leave, but we have to qualify that by saying that it's got to be their decision.
So if they do go, we should miss them terribly. I won't want to see them go. And I know their dad won't. So, you know, we will be upset.
The things I'll miss about Jane are knowing that she's not just round the corner to drop in.
I think missing the family and friends is gonna affect her.
I think it will. I think they've got to try it.
Yes, we've got to give it a go.
If you don't do it, you can wait forever. You'll never know until you give it a go. And I think the time they have out there, they'll work it out whether it's right for them.
We can probably visit at some stage, but it's such a long, long way away, isn't it?
I know that we could fly over there and they would say that they are going to come back over here, but I think that you've always got to think that maybe you won't see them again.
If they're happy that it's the right decision for themselves and for the children, our grandchildren, then we'll back them 100%.
Looking forward to seeing you when you come home. Please don't forget us. We'll miss you ever such a lot, Jane and Andy. But I'm sure you'll make the right decision and you'll decide what you want to do. And obviously, we're behind you 100%.
If you do decide to go, we'll all really miss you. Hope to catch up with you soon. Bye.
We wish you all the luck if you are going to leave us. We wish you all the luck in the world. But we shall miss you all terribly because you're the only family we have back here now.
I don't want them to go. That's very selfish of me because I don't want to lose the grandchildren.
Dad, you got tears in your eyes.
Hearing such heartfelt messages has really brought home to Andy the scale of the decision they still have to make.
When you're looking at such a vast move in life, people are obviously going to give you the blessing, as the saying goes, but at the back of the mind there's always something else they want to say.
There's quite a lot more to be said from both sets of parents, neither of which want us to go.
It is possibly the only grandkids I'll ever have.
Yeah,
and
it's the only grandkids, but it's not the only family.
I know, but it's the only grandkids I'll ever see. They've obviously got other parts of the family, so I can see from their point of view they don't really want us to go.
It's been a week of incredible highs and lows, but our families still have to make their decision. Is it what they all really want? It's time to put their future to the final vote. Jane and Andy Mason have brought their 3 children to Adelaide to try and decide if they want to move to Australia.
We'd like to get out of the rat race and just have a bit easier life, a bit more outdoors.
Their hopes of finding their dream Aussie home didn't go to plan.
I think hate's a bit of a strong word. I just totally dislike it.
So I think UK houses are better built and are more homely.
And the job Andy tried wasn't for him.
I feel like I'm on a production line at the moment, and that to me is not a good thing. I'd like a bit more variety in it.
While Jane struggled to work out her priorities for a new life.
Horses, dog, kids, then Daddy. Andy is sort of bottom of my pecking order.
But there are more serious issues to consider before they vote to move to Australia or stay in the UK.
Obviously, with Andy's mum having MS, she has said that she won't come over.
Don't want the resentment factor for us leaving. I can see from their point of view.
Will the fear of splitting up the family forever stop the Masons in their tracks?
So the vote will be whether we like to live in England or Australia.
Will it be a vote for the UK or Australia?
Undecided!
Australia it is, even though Jane's still not convinced.
I'm not decided.
For Andy, Jane's half vote means good news about her horse.
It looks like Reggie's not coming.
So the Masons are trotting back to the UK to consider their difficult move. It costs the average family about £3,500 and takes about 15 months to get through the Australian visa process. But that's the easy bit. As the Masons have found, leaving your family behind is the hardest decision you'll ever make. Next time, find out what happens when another British family decide if they can make a new life where they're wanted down under.
The knives are out for Sam. His reputation at Holby City is under fire tonight at 8. Next this morning on BBC One, a church in South Wales that's a profitable investment opportunity goes under the hammer.